Hi everyone, Jo here again. How are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. Thanks so much for popping in today. Lovely to spend time with you. And the design I've come up with today, I'm thinking is fabulous for New Year. So Happy New Year, everybody. And this design, I love this book. As you know, it's from the Book of Spells. And for me, we're going to open up a new page, a new chapter for the new year. And I've also teamed it up with our number stamps so that we've got the number of the year. Now, these number stamps are fabulous. They can be used for date of birth. If you needed to make a card for, say, 74th birthday, you could put 7 and 4. If it's a new house, a house number, I know you're going to fly with it. You'll suddenly think of all the things you can use these numbers for. So I'm going to start with a piece of multifarious card, and this is 5.5 inches square. And that lovely book stamp, as you know, I've used this so much. 1 ink today in the VersaFine Claire, and that's the Nocturne. So just simple stamping in black. And I've just caught my block there, so I'm just going to wipe that. And then what I'm going to do is stamp that sort of in the middle, about there. And it's just beautiful. Now, I thought I'd put a sentiment on here, and I've gone for the heartfelt verses. If you're one of our lovely new friends and followers, and hello to everybody, by the way, if you're not sure how it's going to look, use the acetate look. Now, it's one thing putting the acetate there, it's another thing stamping it. So the best way to do this is to ink up, we're going to put with love. And then I find it easier for me. I find it easier if I stand up and hold the stamp directly above and then stamp. And we've got that, it's following the line there. So now to the numbers. So we've got 2026. So let's start with the 2. And again, you can do these in any order. If you want to decoupage them, they decoupage really well. So we'll have the 2 there. And then we'll put the 0 there. And then the next 2 pop sort of maybe a wee bit higher. And then the 6, let's put just over here. As I say, such a lovely set. Now, I did originally think of adding some music notes, but then I thought I'm thinking celebration, so let's come in with some stars. So this is stars 2 from the mini stamps, and this one's got a couple of large stars and some smaller ones. But I've also got a star group set, and this has got lots of mini stars on it. So I'm thinking that could go here. And then if I stamp again, so this is 2nd generation, I haven't inked up, it's paler. And so it almost looks like the stars are in the distance. And I'm thinking sort of fireworks at New Year and that lovely sort of celebration. So if we pop one here, 1st generation, then maybe one just up here, 2nd. And we'll stop there, we'll walk away from the stamping now. Your VersaFine Claire is a permanent ink pad, so I would always recommend to give it a good blot, because that way you don't want to smudge it. There's nothing worse than smudging it when you've done that lovely stamping. So what I'm going to do now is come in with a stencil. And I've gone for this lovely stencil called Flora. I just love the way the leaves sort of float up. And I'm going to put it here. I could put a mask down here, but I'll just make sure I don't go below the book. And the colours I've gone for, we've got Sundance, we've got some pink elephant, and we've got some blue atoll. And I'll start with Sundance, and I'm using the larger of the stencil brushes. And I'm just going to start, and we're just going to tickle. You want it nice and light. And I'm just going to come in sort of the middle area. Then I'm going to add a little bit of pink. And again, I'm gently picking the pink from the lid, and it's very much a tickle. And I'm going over that yellow. but then I'll come in with my yellow brush and just blend the area between the two. And if I want to see how it's looking, oh, that's lovely. And a little bit of blue now again, pick up from the lid. And I'm just going to follow the shape where the stars are. And I want the blue to come over the pink. I'm hoping we'll get some orange and some purpley tones in there. And I don't want it to be too strong. Let's have a look. Yes. So the last thing I'm going to do is pick up some yellow from the lid. I don't need any more off the actual ink pad. And then I'm going to go over the whole lot. And I find this, if I use the lighter colour, it just helps blend everything together. And we get that beautiful blend look. And this is a lovely way of almost mixing your own colours, blending your own colours together. And I just want that nicely in the background. I don't want it to take over. I just want it to be part of the background. So now we'll add some colour to the book, and I've got my Mondelez pencils for this. And the numbers we've got number 1, number 29, 32 and 33. And I'm just going to lean on a little bit of kitchen roll. And so all I'm going to do is add some colour to the book. Now again, your Mondelez watercolour pencils, so if you want to add water to blend the colour, you know, I like to use my Wink of Stella to blend the colour. But today I'm just going to use the white pencil. And what I find is the white pencil, when you go over the top, it just blends it all together nicely. So I don't press too hard, nice and light. And then just come in with the white, just to blend those nice tones together. And then I'm going to do the same on my numbers, and I just want to add a little bit of colour. I don't mind that you can see that stencil work through. I'm happy with that. Now, it might be you want to decoupage the numbers. I quite like it just adding a little bit of colour over the top. But again, you'll decide. I know some of you don't like fussy cutting. But others, you know, we're all different, aren't we? I know some of you love to just sit and fussy cut. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the brown and then just come in with the white and blend. There we go. Happy with that. So next I'm going to come in with my pastel pencils. And here, I want to add some shadowing below the book and also on the numbers. So I'm going to use a couple of different colours for this. And with the numbers, just going to add a little bit of the black, just sort of bottom right hand area. And then blend that with the grey and blend it round. And I just find that almost fuzzies those edges and takes the black into the grey colour. And then lastly, you can use your finger, or I'm just using a biodegradable cotton bud. You can use a paper stump just to blend it completely. Just need a little bit more shadow on there. And this does two things. It makes it look, I think the blended looks more like shadowing, but also I find you don't need a fixative. If I was doing the whole card in my pastels, I would need a spray fixative. But because I'm just using such a small amount, we don't. So again, I'm going to come in under the book and add some nice brown because we've used brown tones. But then to just give that oomph of the shadow, just going to add a little bit of black look underneath. And I love that combination of the brown and the black. Just gives a little bit more interest to your shadowing, and it just grounds the book beautifully. So we'll pop those to one side. And then I've got some little bits of pastel here. Now, I find it easier to just blow. If I was going to smudge it, I might smudge it too much. It's up to you. I mean, if you want to use your fingers to smudge it, but then you're left with a dirty finger, and you know me, I'm going to have to clean that straight away, aren't I? And I love this bit, you know me, finishing tricks. So, Signo Uniball, this is the metallic bronze. And on that book, I just want to add some bronze. So this has got bronze in, it could have gold leaf in. It's a very important book, this. As I say, music notes would look lovely. I mean, the book is so useful. We've used it for Easter, haven't we? Christmas, birthday. Right, love that. And then to tie it all together, I'm coming in with my Posca, and this is the yellow sparkly. And what we're going to do is just again, and I'm leaning on my copy of paper, to make it a lovely cohesive design and tie it all together. And also, because I've got to be honest, I want to brighten up the black sort of my stars. So I'm just adding a little dot in the middle. And then I'll come in, and again, I'm just going to tap the pen here, just nice and gentle with my stencil brush. We've got some more. Now, these could be orbs, fireworks. I just think the magical sparkly bits coming out of the book because we've got a magical sparkly new year ahead. And then my little finishing touch is glossy accents. So if you look at this, and then we're going to come in with our fabulous glossy accents, which I put to one side and couldn't remember where it was. So this is lovely. I always say it takes overnight to dry. Just give it a little test first, and that's working, so we can mop that up. And my suggestion here is almost touch the card, go around the outside first, just applying gentle pressure, and then almost infill the circle and then lift the nib. And that way you don't get air bubbles. So again, all the way around the outside, into the middle, lift up. And almost work furthest away and then towards nearer to you. Lift up. Again, round we go. Round, keep it submerged, that nib, and then lift up. Now, this is fabulous for water splats or just any general water. I love the stuff. It looks lovely like little raindrops when you've stamped your florals. Now, it does go on cloudy and it's clear when dry. If you did find you had a little air bubble, your hat pin comes in very useful just to pop it. So there's the one that I've just created. And here's the one, and I'm going to make sure that one goes underneath. When dry, these will go through the post. They dry really hard. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And I hope it gives you some ideas. Anyway, I'm off now. Cheeky brew and biscuit time. I'll catch you again soon. Take care, everybody. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.